Do you have anything on the agenda you want to talk about during stream?
Not really. I feel like, I mean, we'll probably end up talking about some of the stuff that we've seen in the horse progression teaser, I would assume. And there's not really model horse news. Not really. I mean, some of the, like, the last of the ticketed special runs came out. And I think we talked about that a little bit. But it's just going to be another vibe night.
Sounds good to me.
Wherever the wind takes us.
Yeah, last time we talked about horse games. Yeah. Like, so we'll see what happens.
Anything can happen. We're not scripted.
Exactly. Oh, I got Wishbone all the way leveled up.
Yay!
So now I'm on Brave Friend, my little halflinger.
I love the halflingers, actually. I think they're very, like, underrated.
They are. Like, it's so funny because I call them, like, my little Andalusians, basically, because they are, like, build-wise, it's kind of similar, and just some of the, like, looks and the way they move a little bit, I'm like, I can see this.
I love that everybody has embraced the Barbie horseness of them.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's amazing. Because I see so many people putting their halflingers in the hot pink tack, and I'm like, yeah! Do it!
Dude, just wait. Like, I'm waiting for it to come out with the Saddlebred and give it, like, this kind of color. Like, definitely Barbie horse material.
Yes. Also, hi, chat. Hello, Katie. Welcome.
Hi, chat.
Welcome. I've made myself, I keep stealing my dad's K-Cups. And I kind of feel bad about it. I feel a little bad about it. Because they were a Christmas present. But, like, I can make it up to him. It's fine. And one of the types that we got him, if you ever get a chance to go into Michigan and you find yourself a Meijer, a Meijer grocery store, they have a Meijer brand Michigan cherry coffee. And I think they make it in just, like, it's definitely in more than just the K-Cups. But it's actually, it tastes like cherries. With a little bit of creamer. Because I don't do black coffee. It's just too strong for me.
Yeah.
But, like, a little bit of creamer and a little bit of sugar, and it just straight up tastes like cherries and nothing else.
Ooh.
So then
definitely have to try that.
Then you take yourself a couple spoonfuls of hot chocolate mix, and you put it in there, and it tastes like a chocolate covered cherry. Excellent.
That sounds like a really good idea.
And, like, thankfully, I'm not a big coffee drinker. I've been finding a couple things that I like. But the other thing is I'm trying to, like, lay off the caffeine, you know, and thankfully this is actually decaf. I'm like, yes.
Oh, good.
Perfect. Oh, let's see. I'm at a point with I have all my horses leveled up. I think I'm just gonna go run around and try to beat race scores. I got like $1,200 the other day from just doing from getting high scores on races.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just over at Starshine, just trying to, like, Brave Friend is at level 14, and I'm like 3/4 of the way on the XP bar for him, so I'm trying to get him leveled up.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Katie. Oh, that sounds really good. One of my favorite things when we were visiting the UP was cherry wine. Like, Michigan is really well known for cherry stuff. I can't remember if that's our state, like, fruit or not. Is that a thing? State fruits? It feels like a thing.
I mean, they usually have
I know they got like a flower, state flower.
Yeah, I think they have like what the state's like biggest production is. Like,
yes, I do think that is cherries
export,
for Michigan.
I think is, yeah.
So like, yeah, you get cherry things from Michigan, very, very good. But I was super surprised about the coffee thing. I had actually I was over at the boyfriend's one time and he made coffee in the morning and it was the cherry stuff and he drinks it black and he's like, try it. I'm like, ugh. Um maybe not. And he's like, no, seriously, like try it. Took a sip and I'm like, this tastes like nothing except cherries. He's like, I know, right? It's really cool.
Ellen might like that then too, because I know Ellen's not fond of the taste of coffee.
Yeah, like for me, it has to taste like very little or not of coffee at all for me to enjoy it. I don't like things that are bitter. I kind of like I gravitate towards like caramel and vanilla flavors whenever I do coffee because I feel like I can't even hardly do like a mocha latte because it's chocolate, but the chocolate's like it's dark chocolate, so it's bitter. You know, like
see, I'm like when it comes to chocolate though, like I like mine dark. Like I love like I recently brought a bar of chocolate to work and it was like 80% like cocoa. And it was literally like it was not sweet at all. But like the minute you had a square of it, you were like, I feel wired with caffeine. Like, it was so good. I was like, wow. It wasn't like wired like when you've had too much caffeine. It was like I was awake all of a sudden. I was like, I'm okay with this.
Oh my god, that's like the chocolate that makes Dementors go away. Like that's the chocolate Remus Lupin carries around.
Exactly.
Oh my god, that's
good
great
stuff.
No.
But yeah, I love dark chocolate. I'm not fond of milk chocolate. I like white chocolate, but I don't like milk chocolate.
I love white chocolate and people think I'm weird for it. I'm like, what? Why is it? I know it's not technically chocolate. I tell you what it actually is? No, isn't it like a cocoa butter type of thing? Like
I think so. I mean it comes from the same plant, so technically.
But yeah, I like white chocolate a lot. I would take white chocolate over like any other chocolate. But I also noticed that things that say they have white chocolate in them, like I noticed like a lot of white chocolate caramel stuff is like it's super duper sweet, which like to me white chocolate is not that sweet.
No, it's really not. Like
so
I mean, I don't know, it's I guess it depends on what you get. Like I remember, I don't know if you've had this, but from McDonald's, they used to have a white hot chocolate for a long while there. I don't know if they still do.
I never tried that.
Really good. If you go to like Kroger, they have, I forget what the brand is, but it's this, I don't think it's Private Selection, but it's this black canister of hot cocoa mix. They've had pumpkin pie, but they have it in white chocolate.
Okay.
But it's really good. It kind of reminds me, the smell of it is very like, it smells like white chocolate, of course, but like it's got a very kind of milky smell to it. Does that make sense? Like when you smell powdered milk, I guess would be like that. It's good, but
okay. Like one of the things that I kind of like, white chocolate in coffee drinks. I like I do. Sometimes I'll do like white chocolate caramel, and there's one from Big B that if you ever get to a Big B, I know like
Tyler loves Big B.
Okay, I was gonna say there are some in Indiana. I know it's like a Michigan thing, but I know there's a couple in Indiana, and I don't know if there's got to be some in Ohio. And,
there is.
They have it's called the Teddy Bear. That's the one that I get is the Teddy Bear, and that is so good. I just like sometimes I cannot do coffee from Big B. I have to do the ones that don't have the coffee in it. Because, oh my god, if they mix that coffee wrong or if they make that coffee too strong, I'm like wired. I'm like ill. I'm just like
Like I hate my life.
Yeah, like it's one of those experiences with caffeine where it must have been the caffeine where it's like I feel like I'm a hamster running on a wheel. I can't get my heart to stop and I'm going to die. And it was like halfway through a coffee drink, I'm like, I am dying.
Dude, I feel it sometimes too, like with coffee. Like, I don't know. I have to be careful because I don't know if it's in the clear syrups or whatever that they're put in the coffees to flavor them now.
Okay.
But it's almost like they put, and I know this, it's not what it is as they put it, but it feels like they put butter in there. Okay? Because it gives me acid indigestion, like terrible.
Oh no. No, that sucks. No, mine, like I used to love doing coffee from Big B, and where ours is in town is the road that I would take to go to class, because there's like a back way into the college campus, and the Big B is right on the corner where like I could easily pull in and get coffee before class, and I had to stop doing it because I was just like, I'm straight up, I feel like death.
Yeah, like but I will say at Big B, I think I forget what it was called, but it had turmeric in it.
Okay.
But I think it actually has turmeric in the name or something, but it was really good. Like, I like to try things that are different. Like, for example, this other coffee place that we go to in Ohio, I forget the name, but I like to get their honey lavender lemonade.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, I like things with like lavender and hibiscus and things like that. It's interesting to me.
Yeah.
And something different.
Have you tried the I cannot remember the name of it now. It's in it's Five Lakes in Shipshe. Have you tried anything from Five Lakes?
I don't think so. Let me ask Tyler about that.
Yeah.
So we'll have to try it.
Yeah, when you're on the way that I used to take to work, that basically if you're on, I think it's Old 20, and you follow that all the way in to Shipshe where you hit the 4-way instead of going through Middlebury, it's in that kind of like, I say strip mall, it's not a strip mall, it's that like big building. It's got a bunch of like little businesses in it. Well, there's
is it the place that has the pretzel place in there too?
No, it's not the barn.
Okay.
It's further down.
Okay.
Okay. It'll be that 4-way stop, and there is a little restaurant in there, and I think there's a gas station like across from it. If you were to keep going, like if you were leaving work and you were going past the pretzel place back towards US 20, if you kept going straight at that 4-way, you'd like go right into Goshen.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's Five Lakes in Shipshe, and that's where I would stop for breakfast a lot of mornings. They have the best like regular hot chocolate, just straight up, just standard hot chocolate that I've ever had. And their breakfast sandwiches are awesome. And if you hit it at just the right time, and I think they're open when you guys go in. If you hit it at just the right time, there's like nobody there. If you hit it at not the right time, like when I would get into work, everybody's there.
Slammed down.
But no, that's if you like hot chocolate, this really, really good hot chocolate. I didn't get a chance to try any of their like mixed coffee drinks, but I would assume with like just based on how good that was and how busy they are every day, I would imagine that they're pretty good. So hi, I see we have more people in chat. Hello, welcome. We're not talking about anything in particular. We've talked about coffee for at least 5 minutes, which that's fine.
Yeah.
We got nothing else to do. Screw it.
So speaking something coffee related, but it's not actual coffee. Chocolate covered espresso beans.
Oh,
good
boy.
stuff. I also tried last year was my first time trying one, an affogato, where it's a shot of espresso poured over gelato ice cream, and it's so good.
Oh, this like it sounds good, and my brain's like, that would be really like interesting to try. And then the little tiny part of my brain that has had negative coffee based experiences is like, or you could die though.
Well, I mean, like, I gotta say, like, you gotta get the right kind of gelato with it, or the right flavor. Like, the place where Tyler and I go in Ohio, their basic automatic flavor that they put with it is sweet cream gelato. So it works really well together. But yeah, because I'm not usually an espresso drinker, and I don't like really strong coffee either, but really, really good.
Yeah. Also, for everybody on in the chat, we're on Frost Valley. That is the server we are on, is Frost Valley. So if you guys are on Frost Valley as well and see us in passing, feel free to say hi. I'm on a Laverna today, and you're on your Hoflinger.
Yep. Yeah. Which I'm the only one that's not a part of the Perfect Pony Squad. Yeah. So
say that's okay. We love you anyway.
Well, honestly, like the club I'm in, me and my friend just created it because we got so sick of getting club invites.
Yes, no, that's pretty much why I did this one too, because it was like, oh my god, I'm getting invite after invite after invite. I don't care. Like, and when I started streaming and when we started doing like, I mean, how the stream and everything started out and how the Star Stable group started out was I was just looking for a way to do stuff with my older 4-Hers and my friends over the pandemic. So like we'd pretty much like, I mean, we have a separate Discord server that eventually morphed into the one that we're chatting in right now. But it's like, that's what we used to do, is every week we'd get on and do Star Stable. And then it evolved or devolved, whichever, you know.
Yeah.
Either or, depending on the day. Into this. But it's fun. It's like my weekly hangout time with friends, because I don't know, like I'm not a very social person. Like I'm not a very social person in the first place, and when you live in like rural areas, I mean, I think it's probably about the same for you as it is for me. It's about 15 to 20 minutes to get into town.
Yeah.
So it's like 15 to 20 minutes to even go and do anything with your friends. And a lot of my friends aren't even from the area anymore anyway. So I'm like, well, I will use the internet for companionship.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing with me too, is like, even though, even with, friends from work, they're all over the place. And I'm like, and I can't get them to leave their houses for love or money. So
I know. And I always felt bad. Okay. So like, I always felt really bad about like not asking like you or Ellen or Jess or like, to hang out, because I'm like, you guys are fun. I like being around you. This is like, I feel like we'd have fun. And then I'm just like, by the end of the day, I'm dead. You're like, you guys are dead. We'd have to drive to see each other. I'm like, this is too much.
See, this is why like a weekend, this is why, and I know it sounds weird because, I don't know. Me personally, I don't believe you ever get too old for this, but this is why sleepovers exist.
Yeah. We've talked about that kind of thing for 4-H. That was something that like a while back we had kind of discussed doing with some kind of slumber party, or like, I don't know if you've ever done a lock-in. We used to do lock-ins for, I was in a group that was like the teen advisory board at our local library, and we'd hold like, this is really neat. It's like fandom themed events and stuff. We did Doctor Who Clue one time at the library, and like the kids all hosted it. We were probably like sophomores, juniors in high school, and like we got to put on that kind of stuff. And one of the things we wanted to do is have a lock-in. And so we had a lock-in at our massive local library, and it was crazy. And I feel like that would be something that would be super fun to do with like either, because I have a lot of older 4-H kids right now, and you know, Courtney and Kenzie are leaders, and like that'd be something fun to do. But even in the context of like this group of us, I feel like putting us in a space where we'd be locked in together for the night would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so close to level 15.
You can do it.
Oh, he's like right on the edge. Dang it.
I hate when it looks like they're about to hit that level, like, or it looks like they've already hit it. Like it looks like your bar is full, but it's not.
Let's see. It doesn't tell me where I'm. God, I wish it would tell you a number. It just.
Oh yeah. Which.
Okay. I mean, it says total horse XP, but is that my number I'm at, or is that
I think
where I need to be? I don't know.
Let me see when I pop out of the trailer here. I don't know if it's just like my horse is leveled up, so it's weird. I think total horse XP, I think, is where you're currently at. Because what does yours say?
1 sec. I'm in the middle of a race.
Okay. Yep. No problem.
It says 32,825.
Okay. Then that is your horse's current total XP, because mine maxed out says 33,000.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, so I'm not too far then.
No.
So hopefully this race will get me there.
So while we're on that, let's talk about the horse progression thing.
Yeah.
Let's start. I don't know if we want to start with like
first impression.
Overall first impression.
Okay. You want to go ahead?
Sure. I really, really like the idea of just like in other MMOs, like trying to make Star Stable like other MMOs in that you unlock things at different levels. I like that. I don't think that it's a case of, well, we paid for this up front altogether, so we should get it. You know, like we should have access to it right away. I'm looking at it as it's not a feature that they have deleted from your horse. Your horse can still do said things, but now it makes the training process more rewarding, because I know like you, me, everyone in chat, everyone in the group that's played Star Stable, eventually we all have a point where we're like, oh my god, I have to train this thing. And it's not like, it gets to a point where it's not fun because there's nothing rewarding. Like there's just there's nothing keeping you going. So I really do like the idea of, okay, level 1 is just like, oh, you've unlocked the deed to your horse. The horse is in your stable. Level 2, you've gotten your fast gallop. Level 3, you unlock leading. Like I think that kind of concept is really interesting, and I kind of hope that we see that go a step further eventually, because I know you and I talked at length about like having different disciplines unlock certain skills at certain levels, and just based on what we're seeing from this early concept of the progression stuff, is that seems possible. Right.
So for me, overall first impressions, like you said, like I like that they're doing this. Like so there was a comment that somebody mentioned, or somebody was, whining a little bit in the adult Star Stable horse group on Facebook, and I put in the comments, I was like, this is no different than every other horse game. So like I pulled up Red Dead Redemption as an example. I said, but in Red Dead Redemption, you get the same animations for every single horse. You don't get special animations for other breeds. And they mentioned about the racing thing. Like, who's going to enter a champion race at level 1? And I'm like, dude, I think it would be funny. Imagine these horses trying to race at a canter.
Exactly. And not only that, but like, okay, if you're entering a champ on a level 1 horse, you're clearly not in it for the like to try and get number one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in it because you need the XP and you need the money. There's no
right, and you also
reason.
want and you also want to experience the race, like get a feel for it, you know, like, and then you can be like, all right, now we're gonna be serious, you know, but but honestly though, like on the side note of that, I think it would be cool if when Star Stable puts, like when you're doing a champ and they put you into groups before you go, I always thought it was based around that they grouped you by player or horse level. And I was sad to know that they didn't do that. And I wish that they would, because it would make everybody a little bit more evenly matched. And then it would rely more on equipment stats versus, you know what I mean, to actually give you an edge.
It does seem like, man, missed a checkpoint. It does to me seem like that they kind of had grouped things by level. But I think that's more coincidence than anything, because when you're in group 1, and you know, there's a good chance that like everybody else in there is level 20, and it's pulling all those people first. Like it's just you know, they're going in order of level. That's what's happening. They're sorting you by level. So it's happenstance if you know, get into group 2 or 3 with people that are like your level or lower. But yeah, I think like doing champs by first looking at player level and then looking at horse level, I think would definitely be a really good improvement for champs in the future. And as far as the horse progression goes, like everything we saw in some of those teasers and those videos about the horse progression, I really, really do like enjoy that. I think everything they've done in that department so far is super good. I like that you don't just earn XP by riding. I like that you can earn XP through picking their hooves, you know, doing your dailies, that kind of thing. I think that's really, really good. The thing that I am miffed about, to say the least, is the new UI that they're proposing is awful. Absolutely god awful.
So like for me, I wish it had more, like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad we have more screen space, like where we can see more around us and whatever. So like maybe in races and when we're doing like story quests and stuff, that it's a little easier like to see things sooner. But with the UI, like I feel like they really need to jazz it up, like put some colorful board or some decorative borders around it, like if you're going to keep it little circles, like something that makes it stand out a little bit and that makes it look like it's not basic. Does that make sense? Like that it feels like it's a step backwards from where we are currently because of how it looks.
Yeah, like I wouldn't actually mind, like I think my major thing that I'm not okay with as far as the new I don't even want to say like it's the definitive new UI, it's the proposed new UI. So the thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is and this is kind of the case now, is the buttons are really tiny. And they seem like they're only gonna get tinier on mobile. And like I know, like, or on bigger screens, I guess I should say too, is like Larry was saying, she plays with a 4K monitor. It's probably already really tiny. And then taking like looking at the horseshoe map and stuff that we have now, based on what we've seen in the videos, it doesn't look like they've actually made that map any smaller up in your right hand corner.
It looks about what we have now, just without the border.
Yeah. However, because there's no border around it, it looks even tinier.
It does. And you know, but one thing with the map, like I understand wanting to have it bigger, but as long as me personally, like I don't use my little map down in the corner unless I'm looking. I use my big one, and so I pull it up if I need it. But for the little map, the only time I pay attention to it was when it would mark, like, so if you're looking for certain items, when it used to mark them in little orange circles, and it doesn't always anymore, where you just have to find the orange sparkles now in the world. So now I don't really use it, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't mind if they switched to like, okay, so maybe you have your mini map, that's fine. But I do think that when they like, instead of having a windowed map, your map, I really wish, because this is so tiny, that they do what Red Dead does, where when you hit the M key, you get like a full screen map.
Yeah.
Because I can't see what road I'm on in any map.
Right. I really wish that, I don't know, so like me playing on my laptop here, I can see everything really well. And I wish they would make it to where they allow each person to individually customize their buttons and the map size, and so that way everybody kind of gets what they need. I would like to, so instead of just being able to change the screen resolution, it would just be nice to be able to change your button sizes or your map size. You know, if you want it to take up one whole corner of your screen, great. That's what you do. You know?
Yeah. And I guess another thing I don't like. I like the idea of the menus with your horse, like your actual character's picture and your horse's picture on the side. But I don't know if I quite like the idea that they currently have in place where like you hover over it to see that. I do like the bar that we have going on. I like the doubled look of that. But I do think that there's definitely like a way that they could lean into this current look but make it more modern. The thing that's kind of going on right now with those particular those little icons is they put the level on there like you'd see a notification on your phone.
Yeah.
It looks like a notification. It makes me want to click on it all the time, and it bothers me when it's still there. So like right now it's just, and I know nobody on stream can see this because I have it blocked, but if you're playing Star Stable, you know what your level indicator looks like. I mean, that's got the number on there, but in no way does that look like a phone notification. So I just kind of ignore it.
To be quite honest, like the little UI we have right now for our character and our horse, I would like for them to keep. The only difference I would like to see is that our XP goes underneath our health bar, just like our horse. And I would also like to see our pictures in those circles. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, there was really nothing. I understand now. As far as one thing, I would like to see with all the little buttons they had down in the bottom right corner for everything. In the new UI, is I would like to see them put it on a tray that we can put in and out of screen, because I don't want to have to look at those all the time.
Oh, I know.
Or especially if they're going to remain clear like that, or they're not going to put it on some little decorative like thing, because to me it's an eyesore. It's clutter.
Yep.
If it looks like it's supposed to be there, like with, again, some kind of detail or decorative thing or whatever, then it doesn't bother me as much.
Right. Like I honestly, this whole setup that we currently have as far as a game UI, like to me it looks fine. But if they want to change the color of this and make it that transparency, like that black semi-transparent, I think you can just do that.
Right.
You probably have to tweak a few things, but just make this existing UI like, okay, update your buttons, make it a little bit more modern looking, and then just change the color to that semi-transparent black.
One thing I think that bothers me about the new UI is looking at it, it looks like a mobile game.
Yes.
And I understand, you know, they want people to be able to play it on mobile and everything, but this is a PC game. I want it to still look like a PC game, because personally, I don't like the look of mobile games.
Yeah.
If I wanted to play on something that looked like a mobile game, I will play on my phone.
Exactly.
But if I'm playing on my computer, I want it to look like a computer game.
Right. And they kind of, it feels like they're forgetting about the people who actually play on gaming setups.
Yeah.
Because like the current direction that they're going in is definitely catered to people with small screens.
Yes.
Definitely. And with there probably being no way to size it up, because like I've played Star Stable on a monitor bigger than what I have. I got a 24-inch or 22-inch. I got a 22 or a 24. I can't remember. But it's a decent size right now. But any bigger than this, tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. And there's no way to make it bigger.
Yeah, see, that bothered me. I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. I just, again, like, it would be really nice if, so all of the little icons that pop up and everything with your horse, it would be nice if they had short keys developed for, people for on PC. Then I could be a little more comfortable with it, because that way it's not, again, not in our faces.
Right.
We don't want it to be.
Either that, or in that same, okay, so like going off that same vein here about like, we're talking about the buttons and stuff, is if they wanted to go, that menu that we get now when we go to care for the horse.
Yeah.
If there was a hotkey to pull that up in the like a big one in the middle of the screen, just a hotkey for like the buttons that we have on our little display down there.
Yeah.
And it pops up in the middle of the screen, and you got your X in the middle, and then all those other buttons circle it.
Yeah.
Good enough. So then get all that UI, like get all that other stuff off the screen.
Right.
If you're so worried about it being minimalist, then make it so that there's just like, oh, okay, this key opens up this menu, and then you can see all of your buttons from there. I think that's all you need to do.
Right. Well, in the same vein of like, for example, if they did the tray method with the buttons, it would be really, they could use the tray method for the chat screen too, like where you'd have your chat pushed away when you don't want it, but it may be a little notification bubble off the side if you get a message or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can slide it right back out to do everything, because so kind of like what we've got now like how it pulls up from the bottom, but instead the side of the screen.
Yeah. I like the idea of the things coming off the side of the screen. I don't know why that's more appealing to me than the bottom.
I think that has something to do with like, being artists and digital artists and working in the art programs we're in, because everything's always on the sides.
On the sides.
So, but yeah, definitely. And I don't know, it's just cleaner, because it's nice to be, I don't know, there's something satisfying about being able to sweep something out of your view. Like, it's just, But, so as far as like, so again, someone had in the same post that I had mentioned on that Facebook group, someone mentioned about, these are things we already currently have for each level. They were talking about the things you get for each level. And I told them, I was like, well, right now, Star Stable is working with what they currently have, on hand.
Right.
Why make new things if people aren't going to like this new system? They want to see how we respond to it first.
Exactly.
And then once they increase our levels past 15 on the horses, I'm sure they will add new things.
Right. Yep. Either that, or they'll go back and they'll say, okay, well, now we've made this. You're going to unlock it at this level. Anybody that already has these horses at this level, you're automatically going to have that, have reached that checkpoint. I just from all the comments I've been seeing from people, it makes like, please take a moment, everybody, and recognize that if your horse is already level 15, this new system is not going to make it so that you have to go back and unlock things.
Right.
Because like that's the mindset that I feel like I've been seeing from people is like, oh my God, I've already paid for this. And it's like, yeah, but all your current horses that are level 15, they're still going to have this. It's just going to make the training for the new ones more rewarding for you. Because I don't know of any other MMO that like immediately goes, oh yeah, so you just bought this thing that you have to level up. There's literally no point to leveling it up other than speed. Like,
Like, yeah, I don't understand the logic in that. Why they think it's going to be taken away from them.
yeah.
And as far as like, so for example, the fact that we had to pay for the ability to be able to lead our horses, like, what do we pay? Like, what, 20, 15 star coins, something like that?
Oh
5-star
god,
coins?
it's a lot now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, because
I don't know
all
what it
right,
used to be because I never paid for it.
I think I paid like 20 star coins or something like that. And actually, I remember I was playing back when before you could jump, you had to do the riding class with what's her name in Moreland.
I remember that too.
But like at least they didn't charge you for each horse. So, I mean, I'm pretty okay with just letting that go.
I remember when you had to be a star rider to jump.
Yep, same.
Don't say Star Stable doesn't give us anything. No, I'm kidding. But
I mean, like, but no, I just but no, it's people. I wish people would look at the bright side. Like, look, this is showing. Okay, so this is showing that they're being good on their word. Okay, they said they were going to do this, and they are. So that means other things that they have said they are going to do, they will.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yep. And I feel like a lot of people that play Star Stable, there's a big majority of them that have never played other MMOs, that don't understand what other video games are like. And therefore, when Star Stable starts changing things to be more like a traditional MMO, then there's the panic or the anger of like, well, I don't understand why you're changing things. It's always been this way. That's stupid. And it's like, okay, but Star Stable fundamentally is a broken game. Yeah. Do you not understand that?
Well, like, so like, you know, so I haven't played the mobile version very much. I know, I'm sure you have played it more than me. So a lot of people complain about the new joystick control. And instead of giving it a shot and actually working to get used to it, people just complain. And it's like, can you just try? Like, I mean, it's like you getting used to the game for the first time again. Like, you're just going to have to learn.
It's actually, and I might get totally roasted for this, I like it better.
See, I've seen a lot of that.
Better.
There are a lot of that. There's a lot of that response about that too, where people actually like it. They think it's better and smoother. And
it's definitely smoother. It's definitely smoother. It is a little weird. Like, it is a little weird to get used to. But I guess I'm more used to it than maybe some other people might be, because it's the same mechanic that Wild Shade has. And I was really, really gunning it in Wild Shade to level up. So I was getting good at using the joystick in Wild Shade. But it is definitely a little bit of a change in Star Stable, like in the context of Star Stable.
Yeah. So back to the UI or the horse progression thing.
Yes.
So I really wanted to say that I really love the new animation, like when your horse levels up, which in that video you shared, it didn't show the rider being off the horse, because when the horse levels up, when the rider's off the horse, the rider actually like throws her hands up and cheers and stuff too.
There is one later, later in the video. Kenzie and I were scrubbing through it at work, and there was a point where they showed that. I was like, that's cute.
Yeah, I love that you're celebrating with your horse. And I love and like even these small stepping stones, like being able to lead them or gallop faster, it shows your bond with them growing, and I love that.
Right, because as of right now, Star Stable is like hammering and hammering and hammering in all their marketing that this is a game about bonding with your horse. You don't actually ever bond with your horse. Your horse is a fancy car that you ride around in, and you upgrade it a little bit with some cosmetics that don't do anything.
It comes with the upgrades all there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
Yeah. Exactly. So you need to have that kind of like connection. You know, there has to be, and this is probably coming from their marketing team, is like, look, your story arc is supposedly like or your draw to this game is horse people, like people who like horses who can't have horses. You like you want to go and ride, you want to take care of them, you want to have that bond, and as of right now the bond is non-existent until the characters bring it up in chat,
right?
You know, until they bring it up in their dialogue, and it's like,
Yeah,
even then, you know, this goes kind of back to the like our starter horse not being as important as maybe like they should be, kind of a thing.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But there's no bond. So their marketing team is probably like, we like, I don't want to say false advertising, you know, because it's not.
Fix this.
It's like it's not, but you know, you probably need to change some things. So I am looking forward to that, and I hope that even if the new UI doesn't come into play for a while, because I think that needs a lot of work. Everything we've seen in the horse progression stuff, I hope that they bring that shit in real soon.
So one thing, I just had a thought. So I really think, so again, even though I'm not a huge fan of the UI, again, it having more screen space, I could see it being a benefit if they open up things like lunging our horses.
Oh yeah.
Like, or like, you know, just doing, or it would be nice if they had it to where we have to do daily exercises with our horses, whether it be lunging or, like, you know, you have to do this work.
That could be another way that you earn XP, kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And or like, honestly, what I would like to see, and this might be a mixed thing, because you remember the old quests used to make it to where you had to have your starter horse to be able to do it. I think they should have it to where you have, instead of you being restricted to one horse, you're restricted to the bond level you have with your horse.
That could be interesting, yeah. Where it's like, oh, you need to have reach level blah 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 with this horse.
Yeah. Right, because it could be a very strenuous thing that, you know, it's a stressful mission that's going to test the bond of you and your horse.
Right.
And then heck, maybe even getting bonding XP from using them in story missions would be cool.
Right. Yep. Like on top of horse, yeah. Because I mean, right now we're getting horse XP for certain story missions. So yeah, you could make it like, oh yeah, you know, because you did this thing with your horse, like, the XP means something.
Exactly.
Yeah. I do like that idea. I think that could be really interesting. I like the horse following you button. I think that's been sorely needed. I like the horse coming when you call button. Finally, they have listened.
That is, I love that. Which honestly, because then that might help people not be glued to the backs of their horses when they're doing missions all the time.
Yes. Yes. Especially during an event. Rainbow Festival.
Oh my god.
God, that was so bad.
That was a nightmare. I've never experienced something so bad.
I was just like, I don't even know why in particular that one was the worst, because there's other events that we've been at and done where there's like, it's the singular character and you like, you walk up to them for the quest and that's the only place you can get the quest from. So like, I don't understand why that was so bad.
I think it's I think because the Rainbow Festival's only been around, what, a couple of years now? Just 2 years now at least.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, especially with the LGBTQ like acceptance and movement and everything like that, like people are drawn to that in this event, and then so we actually probably got more players in the game because of that event itself.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then also having the potential to meet another one of our Dark Riders in that
Yes.
little bit. But,
oh, I see Katie. Yeah, and we've talked about this before, but horse personalities we work with could be fun. Say we have a spooky horse, we need to do some desensitizing exercises or exercising a fresh horse more. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Love that. You know, if they could find a way to bring, and I know we've related it to The Sims before, but if they could find a way to kind of bring in that Sims-like thing where when you pull up your horse menu, you know, maybe you see that your horse's 3 personality traits are XYZ, and they have an effect on your horse's behavior. So there's certain animations that only those personalities do, and they'd be the same across all the breeds, right? Like you're not going to ask them to do like different animations for different breeds, spooky, whatever.
Right.
But they'd be like mixed in with your idols.
Right. So like honestly, like okay, like I did level up Brave Friend, so now I'm on my other half, my first Sweet Friends, and he's a level 3, so he's got a long way to go. But I honestly would love a halflinger that doesn't like getting wet or muddy, and I want him to refuse to go through the water.
Right, like you could get I know
some of to be snooty.
Some of the Sims ones are like obedient, friendly, smart.
One was like a prissy or clean one, like they like to be clean, and then there's others that like to be dirty. And imagine having a dirty one and coming into your stable to go get on this horse, and it's covered in mud in its stall because it rolled around in something. And you're like, why?
Yep.
White horses in game.
Yep.
Being muddy.
Yeah, that would be a blast. I wouldn't even be mad. You know, like
I wouldn't either.
Like because it's just funny. And you could do a thing where you can pick the personalities and see them in the horse menu. You know, so like when you buy a horse now, they have that cool menu. So now, you know, it's just one more step is you can pick 3 personality traits. Here are a couple of the animations that you get to see. You know, maybe it adds those idols to their loop, or like The Sims, it just has them perform like a base animation for that specific personality. And then later on, if you want to re-roll those, like if you want to change those, maybe that's a thing you have to do for star coins, like naming it.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah,
and like that's fine because I feel like a lot of people probably are not going to change their horse's personality. I think you still need to give them the option to change it. But I just don't think that a lot of people are going to like double back and go, oh yeah, instead I want it to be this. But
like the thing is like, so on that note, like the thing I could see happening. So let's say, you know, again, I've got a Percy halflinger. So let's say I get to see the little animation in the beginning when I pick it. But then later in the game, as I'm playing with this horse, I suddenly run into all the things that personality affects. Like, for example, not wanting to go in the water.
Right.
But then I realize, oh, this affects my entire gameplay. So maybe I am going to change it. So I think the first change should be free. And then after that, it's like, well, you know what you're getting into now. So
right.
But it would be, and I don't know. I think it would be a mixed result with how people feel about it if their personalities really affected gameplay. Yeah. But I mean, it would make them feel so much more alive and make them more of make them a bigger part of the game and the story because right now, and that's another thing. I think that's another reason why people are hammering for story quests because that's all this game is about right now.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing to actually do with your horse. I mean, like we've been saying, your horse is a vehicle, and it's a vehicle to do quests on. So, like, unless there's an event going on in which you're grinding for cool stuff to upgrade your vehicle, there's nothing to do with the vehicle.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Which, honestly, like, I would love to see, too, like later down the line, once we get like dressage in game and everything, is for them to add championships for show jumping and dressage.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just racing.
Yep. And I think there's a way that they can do like, you know, so that, well, right now we kind of have more or less steeplechase-y kind of like races, right? So
yes,
with all of us on the screen, I know that there's definitely a way for them to have us do races where we're the only ones visible.
Right.
So like, you know, you still maybe you need to go to a certain champ area to do the dressage champ. You know, but when the clock ticks down, you just perform your test.
Right.
By
that would
yourself.
Be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I mean, they've already kind of stepped into that with our ability to be able to hide other people in the game.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, I think that could be done, but that would be fun.
Yeah, I'd have a blast doing that. Even like you said, the show jumping ones, that could also be something where they hide everybody else for a little bit.
Well, because like,
go and do your thing.
Like, I'll be honest, the reason why I don't do a lot of champs is because I'm very anal when it comes to realistic things. So I'm not going to have my halflinger be a racehorse. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, it annoys me. Like, so I'm like, it's either you have to do racing or there's no champ for you at all. And it's like, this is annoying.
Oh man, I might pop off after this champ. Like, at least just pop off a stream. Okay. For some reason, my wrist tonight, for everybody on stream, I've got my brace on. For some reason, my left wrist tonight is like, no, ew, stop. Why? It's not even my airbrushing wrist.
I was about to say, maybe it's all that pony painting you've been doing, or that's your wrist that holds the model, though, right?
It is.
So maybe, yeah, that's
why. Speaking of which, the bastard is here. The spotty thing.
Oh yay!
He's almost done. I'm so close to being done with. I'm working on 3 things right now that are in paint, and it's this Appy, it's Animar, and I have little Giorgio. And I got brand new gloss that like the gloss that I was using for like the brush on stuff, the eyes, hooves, whatever. I had been using a craft gloss that was really, really nice. But I've noticed in the couple customs that I've hung on to over the years that in about 2 years' time, it starts to like not be so glossy. And I'm not sure if it's because it just naturally wears down, or if it's because these are horses that I've put into pony pouches over and over again. And it's like buffed it, you know? So I'm not sure. But I know a lot of people are happy with like the Liquitex gloss. And I bought some of that to try. I did not notice, I started reading it the other day. I did not notice that you actually have to let your paint dry for about 72 hours before you put the gloss on, just in case. And so now I'm like, oh man, I gotta time things now. I gotta time it so that like, all right, if I put a finish coat on this thing today, then by Tuesday I can gloss its feet. You know, like that's like I've never had to think like that before, because and I was talking to my dad about this the other day, because I've noticed that I'm a very impatient person as far as customs go. Like as far as not even custom, as far as my own artwork goes, is I'm the type of person that like I want to see the finished product as soon as possible, because I have that vision in my head, and I'm afraid that if I don't get it done in a reasonable amount of time, I'm gonna lose it, you know?
I completely understand that.
And then there's also the excitement to see it done. So it's kind of like, okay, like it's like for a while I was speed running how quickly I could get horses done. And that's not a good thing, when you're working with
No.
material that needs time to cure and dry and just like be workable and not ruin it.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely had projects where I've been like, oh, this didn't work. I'll never do that again. And then looking back on it, I'm like, okay, it didn't work because you're stupid. It didn't work because you didn't let it sit for long enough to actually cure. You fool. Like,
Yeah.
like for example, I've been using, similar to like what we would do at work is like I
Mhm.
cut out patterns and I apply them on the horse. Only difference is
Yeah.
that a lot of the times I don't use bare plastic. Unless I'm doing it on a
Yeah.
stablemate, it's not bare plastic. So I do that on
Yeah.
top of primer. So it's very important that the primer be dry.
Yeah, because then
and
when you
my
go to peel off those stickers,
Yeah.
they
So
will be repaying.
my idiot brain sometimes has gone, oh, 4 hours is good enough. Let me just slap that masking on like a fool. So I'm getting better about that now. Like it's a conscious choice that I have had to make, and I feel like it's going to be like it's just going to make things better for me. It's going to make my work better. It's going to be less of a headache, because
Mhm.
it not that not that there was like a quality problem with my customs, but what would happen is that I would be close to being done. I'd do something too soon, and then I'd be like, shit, now I have to fix it. And I'd have to walk back, and it would take me longer to do the horse than I had anticipated. And then you just get frustrated.
Yeah.
So it's more like a process thing for me. It's not going to have any effect on the product that I'm putting out, other than I'm probably going to be able to just put things out sooner, even though I'm waiting. It's probably going to help me get things put out sooner because I won't have to fix things. But yeah.
Yeah.
And also, thank you everybody who's like, oh, your wrist. I hope your wrist feels better. I hope so too. I've been like, anybody that draws or paints or anything can probably relate to having one bad wrist or like one
Yep.
bad hand. Usually, I feel like it's your drawing hand, your dominant hand, which for me, I'm right-handed. I have problems with my left. I was a stupid child. Emma's not very smart sometimes. What I would do, and this is probably like every time I tell this to people, they're like, "Ooh, ow! Why would you do that?" So when I was younger, I would sit at my desk to do digital artwork, and I would sit on my knees for one, which was not good, and for two,
Ouch.
yeah. So that's ouch number one. And then two, what I would do is, and I'm already at a spot where I'm not good in the champ. I'm not doing good in the champ anyway, so I'm just gonna yeet. All right. So take my brace off for a minute so I can show the good people on stream. I would sit at the computer on my knees, get myself all tucked up, and I'd be hunched over like a shrimp, as the meme, the shrimp meme. And I would take my hand and I would put it a complete like 90-degree angle, completely horizontal, and I would rest my chin on it. And I would do this for hours.
Oh
And I'm
boy.
talking about hours. I've definitely had like especially when I was working on my comic book, I remember sitting at my computer with no breaks for at least 6 hours. And I know that's bad. I know it's really bad. But like when you're in the grind, when you're doing the grind, and you feel like you owe people work, you
Yep.
just don't stop. So it really screwed up my wrist. And like between or it came to a head my sophomore year of college. I think it was my second year of college. And it got so bad that I took an entire semester of college where I had 0 drawing classes. I was like, when I was signing up for classes, I'm like, I hurt so bad, I'm not going to take any drawing classes. And I actually did not draw at all for a month. I was in so much pain. And thankfully now it's actually to a point where it only seems to happen like when I've been using it extensively. So like today I've been airbrushing, so I've been holding things with a death grip to make sure they don't slip. But the other time it bothers me is when it's really, really humid out. I always joke with people that I can tell how humid it is out, like just because of my wrist. Like I could give you a percentage based on how bad my wrist hurts. I'm usually pretty close. When it gets to about 85% humidity, she starts aching. But between having a wrist brace and using it, there was a while that I wore it every day for probably about 3 months straight. And then after that, it was like I kind of switched down to every couple days I'd have it, and then I take it off for a little bit, put it back on. So now I have a different brace now. I just have like an ace bandage thing that I put on, and it doesn't have any it doesn't have any huge support in it. The one that I used to use actually had a big metal bar in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's like there's no way you're moving this thing. Nah. But now the one that I have is a lot more flexible. So it's only like an every now and then thing, and I wear it for a couple hours, or I wear it while I'm working on things, and then I put it away. So that's good. But any artists out there, take care of yourself. Seriously.
Yeah.
Don't
sit like a shrimp.
Don't sit like a shrimp. You know, keep your monitor a nice distance away from your face. Get glasses that have blue light filters on them, please. Because your eyes will thank you. I used to have horrible
or use
headaches.
night mode on your computer too.
And use night mode. Do both. And I know, because do you have glasses or contacts? Do you use glasses or contacts or any of that?
No, I don't.
So you're a fully sighted person. What's it like?
Yep.
What's it like waking up in the morning and seeing? I can't relate.
Well, it's debatable sometimes, because sometimes I see things I don't want to.
So just a little tip. Do you ever get headaches from like being on the computer too often? Do you ever get like eye strain stuff?
Sometimes. I think I told you I get those weird headaches where I honestly literally lose my peripheral gone. Okay. Like there's no days, it's just gone.
So a little tip for you is I used to get really, really bad eye strain headaches. And I know it's from working on the computer constantly. Like I know that. So the last time I got glasses, I actually put the blue light blocker on it. And I am not even kidding when I say that I have not had an eye strain headache in a year and a half. since I got these
Dang.
glasses. So if you go to where I get my glasses from is Zenni, and I can get you a link. They're really cheap. Like I think the pair that I've got right now, I think it was like a $35 pair of glasses. When like anybody that wears glasses, y'all know that if you go to like a store and get glasses, you're looking at like $200 just for frames. Seeing is expensive. But Zenni has you don't have to put prescription in the lenses.
Okay.
So you can actually just get yourself specifically blue light blockers and only wear them when you draw.
Okay.
And I swear, like, I noticed a difference instantly. And it might be kind of a bad thing at first because you're like, oh my god, I can draw for longer. No. No.
Yeah. Well, honestly, whenever I draw, especially big pieces that need a lot of work, or like even when I would do customs, I would literally sit there for like 5 hours and draw, paint, and I would do it nonstop because I was in a groove and I wanted to get it done, and I would get everything done, but man, that take out a huge chunk of my day, and it honestly stopped me from drawing a lot because if I didn't have the full 5 hours to be able to work on a piece, I wouldn't work on anything.
Right. Yeah, because it seems like we're the same when it comes to drawing as like at least the habits that we used to have, where when like you're gonna start a piece and finish that piece that same day.
Yep.
That was definitely like I would do that with the comic book, and it was probably the most unhealthy thing I've ever done in my life, because for anybody that's not familiar with the process of making comic books, is normally so it's a 24-page book. That's what I used to put out. And normally when you make comics, you have somebody who does the script, somebody who does the pencils, somebody who does the inks, someone who does the colors, and then someone who letters it. That's 5 people. When you're doing your own comic and you're doing all of that, you are all 5 people. So even if I had the script done, so like I'd have the script done way before everything else, when I sat down to work on a page, I would want to make sure that that whole page was finished when I got up. And that's not healthy. Don't be like me. Be better. But yeah, like the blue light filters on your glasses definitely help with eye strain headaches. I'm very serious in that I really have not had eye strain problems since I got the filters on my glasses. For a while, like I had talked about it for a while too, because like before I found Zenni, I was looking at just like strictly blue light glasses, and you're talking like hundreds of dollars. I was looking at like different places that specifically sold like gaming glasses, basically. It was a lot of money, and I'm like, well, shit, like that's not. I can't like afford to pay that for something that I'd like basically have to wear on top of my glasses because they're not prescription. So I waited for a while, and then a couple people tipped me off to Zenni, because it was like pandemic time. I needed new glasses. Like Shopko, I was going to Shopko for my glasses, and they're expensive. And I'm like, where can I get better glasses from? Oh, the internet. So definitely, and you can pick the frames and make them all cute.
Oh, good, because I like doing that.
Yeah,
because like
they have really for me, fun frames.
It's so funny that like you should say about having glasses and stuff, because so when I was little and I had my eyes checked, my brother didn't, and he got glasses. I didn't. So because I wasn't gonna lie to the doctor, you know. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually went to Claire's and got one of those fake pairs of glasses and would legit wear them.
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean, there's a lot of people when you go into the reviews and stuff on Zenny, they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, like I don't really wear like I don't actually wear glasses. Like I don't need glasses, but the prices are so cheap and the frames are so cute. I got them as an accessory." And I'm like, "Oh my god,
Must be nice.
must be nice." Did you get called Four Eyes as a child? You don't harbor my trauma. Like,
God.
but no, like you know, having gone so long too, like with oh, all you ever get is one pair of glasses, so you have to make sure they go with everything. That
Mm-hmm.
was always a thing that was like, you know, like drilled into me as a kid.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really get like fun glasses because,
God.
you know, like I'm not gonna want purple see-through glasses with everything. That's not, no. They don't go with like certain things. What if I decide that I want to wear like something really obnoxious colored and my pastel see-through glasses don't go? No. Um, the Zenny glasses, like granted, I got these in just like a black because it was the first time I was ordering from them, and I was like, I'm not gonna go all out and not like them, you know. Um,
Right.
I would feel very comfortable ordering like a couple pairs of glasses at like $30 each that had my same prescription, and just occasionally being like, "Oh, today I'm gonna dress it up, and we're going out with big old rainbow frames." Like I'd feel good about that. I wouldn't mind doing that.
Oh God, I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. Oh, not. Oh no, it's gone. Ugh, I hate that. And then watch it'll pop up out of nowhere.
Oh,
So I
yep.
apologize.
No, but I finally like I know you've heard the saga of this horrible Appaloosa thing that I've been dealing with for a couple weeks now. But I don't think anybody that would be listening to this also knows. Um, this is the Appaloosa Allegro that I've been showing off in my Instagram story lately. He's really pretty now, but he's been the biggest pain in my ass for like 2 weeks now. Um, because one way or another he's decided he's going to cause problems. Um, Problem number one is that anything Eberl is just horrible to prep. I don't care if
Yeah.
it's a resin. I don't care if it's an OF Briar. They're just awful. Like you really
Yep.
get down. If you've ever like actually looked at a Vallegro, they're a mess. He's a
Yeah.
mess. There's excess plastic everywhere. Like this, okay, the seams aren't that bad, but the excess plastic everywhere, and like certain things being like super well defined and some like not being defined at all. I've also encountered this with Zafira because there's a Zafira on my workbench right now too. So prepping this thing was so much fun, so fun, just great. And then how I do my Appy spots. My Appy tutorial on YouTube is really outdated for anybody that watches my YouTube stuff. It's exceptionally outdated. But how I do my spots now is I'll either do it with paint or I'll do it with a archival ink marker, and it has to be specifically like archival ink, like a Prismacolor marker. And you actually go and you draw all the spots on with a marker. And see, for me, it's easier to draw with like that than with a paintbrush. I feel like I have more control with a pen. So I draw the spots on, and then I go back and I clear spray it, and then I spray all those spots with like a couple coats of white, and that's my mapping. And then I go back in with paint and I fill in the dark spots. This fella decided that he was going to have an adverse reaction to the Prismacolor marker. This guy decided that his spots were never going to dry. Ever. So I had to do a lot of reworking his mapping because my ink was not drying at all. And so I could not move on to the next stage because every time I tried to, he would smear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to end you. I want to smash you on the table. Like, but he finally got to a point where he was drying and starting to cooperate, so I could actually move on to the next stage. Well, then I get him to the point where his spots are mapped. I got the dark ones on, the final spots on, and then I actually did his mane and tail by hand instead of airbrushing it. I've been trying to get better at blending acrylics by hand. And I was very proud of myself because his tail was nice and blended. And I took him outside into my garage to spray him. And I feel like everybody that customizes Vallejo, like if you've ever customized a Vallejo, or even if you have a Vallejo, you hold them by their base a lot. And they're usually pretty sturdy on there. But not all the time. Sometimes they trick ya. So I've just sprayed him. He's got a coat of clear coat on, and I'm walking up to the garage door to bring him back inside and bring him down in the basement. And I go to open the garage door, and this little bitch pops. Literally like jumps off the base and starts to fall. And I grab him by the tail with my gloved hand. And obviously, like, I can't put him down because I have to open the door. So I bring him all the way down the basement. My hand is on his tail like this, and I bring him down to the basement, and I set him down. And when I take my hand off him, my glove, you can hear I could hear the squelching, and it took all the paint off his tail that I had just worked on for like 2 hours.
No.
So, and on top of that, he also, he bumped into the door, and I didn't think anything was damaged. And then I looked at him, and his ear was actually, it had like a V-shaped split in it because his ear had bumped into the door and actually taken a big old chip out of the ear tip. So I grabbed a nail file and I did my best rounding of his ear tip back, and they're the same size and everything. It's fine. And, it chipped all the way through the primer. So I actually just went and I did a couple layers of black paint. And when I go to gloss, like final gloss certain things, I always do ear tips anyway. So I'm not super concerned about it. But It's just like the icing on the cake would be that.
Right.
So he thankfully cooperated today. I had to go in and I painted on his hoof stripes today. He got his horseshoes today. For anybody that doesn't know, I always like to put layers of interference colors on horses. So he actually has a layer of interference blue to make him look all shiny. It reflects his black spots really nice and all that. But yeah, he cooperated fairly well. But the big problem today was that I packed up all my stuff to go into my studio space, got there, got everything unpacked, set everything up, went to hook up my airbrush, and there was no airbrush.
Whoops.
Whoopsies. So I had to drive the 15 minutes back home, which I had borrowed my mom's car because it's freezing cold here today. And I borrowed my mom's car because it was already warmed up. And then I get back and she's like, please don't take my car back in. I'm trying to not get a bunch of miles on my car. So I'm like, all right, fine. So then I have to warm up my car because I'm like, I'm not taking a freezing cold car in. It was great. It was a great morning, but I got everything accomplished that I needed to. But also, I see Maria in the chat. You have a question about what's the type of spray you use for the final coat on your models. I have a couple different ones. I have used, let's see, I've used the Testors. It used to be called like Dull Coat. I used Dull Coat for like a really long time. I like it. It's a little bit more on the expensive side, but it's good, and it lasts a pretty long time. They're tiny cans though. The Testors High Gloss in that same kind of tiny can. That's pretty good if you want like a really, really glossy finish. But the stuff that I'm finding out that is the biggest bang for my buck, and lasts the longest and gives me like an ultra matte finish, it's actually Rust-Oleum. It's Rust-Oleum Advanced Formula. It's not in your typical spray can with like the push down button. It's actually in a can where you have like a trigger,
which is nice.
Yeah, because I don't know about you, but I've bought the triggers that you could pop onto spray cans before, and I love those. But with this specific stuff, obviously I don't have to use it. Only thing is sometimes they do leak those triggers. So like I know some people would like won't wear gloves when they go out and spray finish coats, or at least like don't wear glove on the hand that you're spraying with. I highly recommend that if you're going to use that stuff, you wear gloves on both hands. Just because I've definitely I've pulled my hand off of the trigger and it's been sticky. So that's not fun. But yeah, that's what I use. And the cool part now is since I last bought that stuff, they've now made new stuff. I get the dead flat, and that's what I use for like if I want a horse to be matte or my in-between coats, I use the dead flat. And it's exceptionally matte. It dries super quick. Like don't be me and like work on horses before they should be worked on. Like give it a couple hours. But if you need to move it from one spot to another, it should be relatively dry in about 20 minutes for you to like move it back and forth. And the other stuff that I've used, the Rust-Oleum Advanced Formula, is the High Gloss. I really like that. Let me see how far my headphones reach, because I have ponies over here. The High Gloss is super duper nice. I did a bunch of tests on it recently, and then did a couple models in it. So I still have Purple Boy here. Purple Boy is done in the Rust-Oleum Advanced Formula High Gloss. It's super glossy. It's really shiny. It's not sticky at all. I mean, it's not even sticky like right away. It's the same thing as the dead flat. It seems to dry to a point where you can kind of handle it in about 20-30 minutes. And then it says like final curing time, I think, is like 24 hours. Definitely a nice finish. And then the other stuff that I have, the same Rust-Oleum Advanced Formula that I have not had a chance to try yet. There's a frosted pearl top coat that they now have. And I really want to know what that looks like, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out what to paint that I could put that on. Like I almost want to paint like a white horse, or like, you know, something that I can just see what it would, because it's frosted pearl. So it's definitely going to make it look like a little bit duller. You know, it's going to add like a little bit of white to it because it's frosted.
Yeah.
But I want to know what that looks like. So I'll have to see if there's something that I can like test it on. Because I like how these other ones are performing. So
Maybe do like a white gray.
Yeah, and do the frosted pearl on top. I think that would look really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Because that might even help like blend some things a little bit better if it's got that frosted look to it.
Yeah.
Another thought I had with that frosted stuff is, if it's a top coat, what I could do is like, say I prime a horse in white, and then I put the frosted top coat on it, so the it's actually on top of like it's pearl.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for that all to cure, and then you go back and mask off your markings.
I was actually going to suggest that we talked about.
Because that's I was trying so hard on the Marwari, this purple Marwari, is I wanted his markings to be pearly. And at the time I'm like, I couldn't think of a way. And I was kind of dumb about it because I actually had like a huge bottle of pearl medium that I could have mixed in with my white that I eventually did on that little gold fjord. But like, I just thought, oh man, like that would have been nice to have that before I worked on this thing, because then I probably could have done that on you. But that's okay. That's what experimenting is for. But yeah, sometime I'll have to put like a supplies list on my YouTube, or like put a oh god, what are the pinned, the highlights on Instagram? Do that on Instagram with my supplies.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually gonna test out some new airbrush paint coming up here too. Caroline told me that the Createx Wicked colors are really good. And I'm almost out of like certain paint colors to begin with. So I was like, ooh, paint buying time. Like and I got myself like a whole like kind of a rainbow of Createx Wicked colors, because not only do they have nice natural colors, but they've also got some crazy shit. I grabbed a pearl blue because I have Courtney's horse to do in blue black, and I kind of want to test that out. And then I also have like the sapphire teak eventually that I want to do, so see if that works on things. I got a fluorescent aqua so I can do the aquamarine saddlebred.
Yes.
I got a pearl lime green that I'm really excited for. I bet. Yeah, and then a pearl red because the next birthstone I'm working on is garnet. Oh
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm super excited to test those out. I will definitely like post about how those go. But when I was talking shop with Caroline the last time, she was like, "Oh man, I don't use anything but that. You know, I don't use anything but the Wicked colors." I'm like, "Ooh, I'll give it a shot." It's so important to like talk about, you know, supplies and stuff you use with other artists. I don't.
Right.
Does it bother you that certain artists gatekeep like what they use, like they keep things a secret?
Yes, absolutely.
Because like it rubs me the wrong way. I don't see anybody else out there as my competition. Like as an artist, you kind of gotta like take a step back and realize that you're not necessarily in a position in which you are actively competing for like people to buy your work over someone else's. That's not what we're here for. We're like, you're here to make things, and people that like how you make things will buy the things you make. And there's a good chance that if they like the things that you make and someone else makes things in a similar way, that they'll buy both of your things. It's like
Right.
you know, like it's a good thing.
Right.
It's
I don't get it. I really don't, because it just, again, like you said, I mean, it's going to support us if not each other, you know?
mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. So,
I mean, especially when you get price shamed for how expensive you make things to
yeah.
do for people.
Yeah. And I understand as far as like making like there are some people that also won't say like who their supplier is, like who they partner with to make certain things. And I kind of
Yeah.
get that to an extent, because you don't want someone to go back and be like, oh, well, I ordered products from this person, or like I ordered products from this company and they're terrible and blah blah blah. Like I know that there's a bunch of reasons like why people won't give that kind of stuff away. But as far as like the actual supplies that you are using, if you are working on a physical product and not having someone else, you're like not like how I do my stickers is I go through a different company. I will never understand why like some artists will get really defensive when you ask what kind of spray sealer you use, or like, oh, I really like how you got that color. What paint did you use? And people are like, I would never reveal my secrets. We're not
just like
magicians.
Just like we discussed, you know, at work, you know, even if we all painted the same color, each artist has their own way of doing things. So
Right.
each one would look different. So it wouldn't even matter if we used the same stuff, same horses, same equipment, you know, it just wouldn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah, like, you know, and this is definitely something that like you know, painting in a factory setting has taught me, at least. And I'm sure you'll understand this now, is a lot of people seem to think that like a lot of people that aren't necessarily artists, I should say, seem to think that like, okay, if you're an artist you should be able to like mimic styles, and when you're working in that kind of factory setting everything should be the same. And I kind of get that to an extent, because you do expect consistency, but consistency is a little bit different than style. Like I feel like I could look at your work, Ellen's work, Jess's work, Julie's, Carrie's, all lined up and go, yep, I know she did, you know, Ashley did this one, Jess did that one, Ellen did that one. And even though you guys used all the same materials, every single one of them will look different, even if you did the same color. So there's no, like, to me, there's no valid reason to actively gatekeep that information from people. It's the same thing with like making YouTube tutorials. Somebody had like asked me a while back, and they didn't like mean anything negative by it, but the question was like, why would you record your process and put it on YouTube? Like, aren't you afraid that people are going to like see that and copy your work?
Right.
And my first response is like, if they watch me for a half an hour, you know, try to get through doing a tutorial, and they have the gumption to go out and do that themselves, I applaud them. Because a lot of people are just going to sit back and go, oh, that's really neat how you did that, and then never actually pick anything up. And the people that are already out there making work, that see that and go, oh, okay, so I have a method that's kind of similar, except that they do this differently, and I do this, but it's not working. Maybe I'll take that little bit and I'll put it in with my own and see if it sticks. You know, artists are thrown under the bus so often that like you either need like a really good following, but there's also no way you're going to get that following without other people,
Mm-hmm.
like other artists being supportive,
Right.
you know. So and I see Katie in the chat, and they're confident enough in their own work. That's like bingo, ding ding ding. The bell is going off, because like, to me, that's what's like, I think that's what kind of gets me about people that are like, I'll never show you what I do with my, because I'm afraid you'll copy me. You need to be confident and secure enough in your own work and believe in yourself enough to go, I don't really care. I just want to
Right,
be
and
nice
that
and help.
right, and know that even if they copied, like, or even if they by some miracle copied what you do,
Right.
that people will be able to tell the original from a knockoff.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So, like, and this goes for anybody in chat, and I know the group chat knows this, is like, if there's anything that I'm working on that you guys have questions on, and you're like, oh, what are you actually using? Or like, how did you do that? I might not be able to like immediately like sit down and show you, but I can definitely be like, oh yeah, like I'm using this material. Here's a link. I can at least do that. Um, I definitely don't feel like I have anything to hide. Like, I got no trade secrets. I got ways that I do things that might be kind of weird, funky. Like, I don't know. I use a lot of weird interference colors on things to get certain shades. Add interference blue on top of beige, kids. You will not regret it. Let's see. What's another big old secret that some people don't seem to? Some of my markings, I draw them on the computer, and then I cut them out with a Cricut. Surprise! Like, big secrets.
Yeah.
Sometimes, to make a horse look more, like, have more depth, I use like 50 color shift pigments because I don't know how to blend colors. There, I'm a fraud. Take it. Oh boy. Oh, let me tell you this about that Animar that I've been working on. So
What's up?
I know I had sent screenshots to the group chat before this, and I'm not gonna go get him. He's all the way down in the basement. But so Animar started off blue, really, really blue, and then I shaded that blue with purple, and then on top of the blue purple, I put a 4-way color shift. It's the blue, purple, red, orange one, because I already had it mixed. I'm like, I'm using this up, and then I shaded over the top of that with black. But I didn't get it black enough. And I was totally like, I really wanted to be done with him, so I wasn't going to take him back in and airbrush him again. But I did today. And there's one picture that you can very clearly see this in what I sent. And I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I think it's just a little bit of a fun fact, is when I was going back over him and shading him black again, I didn't want to get too close to certain parts of him because I didn't want to ruin the white markings and the eyes, because I'd already done that. And I'm like, I don't want to do that again. So I kind of circled around certain things. I took the big old tip off my airbrush and I circled around some things. And in one of the pictures that I sent, it looks like his eyes are glowing.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Because I didn't get close enough to his eye to cover up all the blue.
Whoops.
So in the specific, and like you can only see it when the light hits it in a certain way. And so it was kind of one of those things where when I took the picture of it, I went, "Oh, that's kind of funky. I think I'm gonna leave that. Like it's neat, but it's the light hits it just right in that specific area that not only does it like really pick up the interference blue that I put on his whole iris, but it picks up the fact that around his eye was really blue and I didn't cover it up. So anybody that sees his sale ad, like it's not obnoxious in the picture, but you definitely like it makes his eye the first thing you look at, which I think is really cool. Because then I'm like, oh, he's staring at me. I want coming home with me. But it definitely looks like he's got like a little bit of a glow to his eye because there's that like misty blue that never got covered up.
Yeah, it does.
Surprise, magic horse.
Yep. I was gonna ask, in his finish, maybe it's just something for him. So in his picture where you're seeing his show, up on his neck, what are all those little bumps?
That I think
like he's got.
I think that is just in the horse that I might not have caught.
Okay. Because I'm like, I mean, I'm not talking like up on top of his neck, but just like his muscles there. There's
no, he's got a couple little bumps in his finish,
But yeah, I mean, he looks great otherwise. Oh, you know what you should do? Add to him is you should put the pink spot on the inside of his nostrils, because since he's flaring his nostrils like he is, he would be hot. So they'd be.
I did think about that. I really did, and I was talking to Courtney about that at length the other night, and I was like, should I do it? Because I'm unsure of whether or not, like, would it ruin him? Would it not? Would it add anything?
As long as you don't go to like pink.
Yeah.
If you go more of like a reddish, peachy-ish pink, then it'll be fine. But if you went like faux pink, like
because I'm just a little bit concerned that because he's so dark that it would like that's immediately where your eye would go.
Well, what you could do is make it a very dark red. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It could still be there, just not. I tried to find examples of.
Because sometimes I like when Caroline does it, because I know she does it a lot.
He does it all the time, and you shouldn't. And horses exerting themselves.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yes, the membranes are in there, but they won't be noticeable until the horse is really like sweaty and hot and
and so I went back and forth for a while, and then I just decided like I don't think I'm gonna put it in there. But
I mean, I can't. It's hard to find an example of a dark muzzled horse with it. I can see it on with markings.
I've definitely seen it on my own horse, like as a seal bay, and I mean it's definitely a thing. Like the dark red on the inside of the nostrils is definitely a thing. I'll probably leave it off of him this time,
right?
But
here, stick it in the.
But yeah, Animar's like the one mold that I could see that really working for, other than maybe Fireheart. Like,
honestly, one thing I really want to do with one of the customs I'm going to do is I want to take that modeling relief paste and do veins all over him. Because be like hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
All right, push shut. Oh, no, why did you do that?
All right, chat. Well, I'm going to pop off stream. Should be back on Wednesday.
Yep, and new update.
What is the update for Wednesday?
Good
yet?
question. I think so. I think I've seen Roadmap.
I think it's a new race. I think it's a new race.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, gang. Well, we will be back on Wednesday. See ya.
Yeah.